No, we are not doing that song. That song is fucking terrible and it's overplayed.
Kano.
No.
Liu Kang.
No.
Raiden.
Absolutely not. Fine, but if you're gonna do that song, it has to be creative and different, alright?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? 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 What is love?
The year is 1992. Baby Got Back is playing on the radio of a local bowling alley. I'm 12 years old and I have a handful of quarters to go play the various arcade machines. I was a pretty big fan of Street Fighter 2 and all the various Street Fighter 2 updates, but this bowling alley didn't have any Street Fighters. It did have a big red machine covered with dragons. I walk up to it and I watch the screen. I saw pictures, real pictures, of people, and they were moving in a video game. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. I watched a guy play it and he used a harpoon to drag another guy across the screen, and I heard those words that would change my gaming life forever.
Get over here!
I put a quarter in and I picked the opposite color of what he had. He had the yellow guy, so I picked the blue guy. And he whooped my ass. I tried a few more times and eventually I did the freeze move. I have no idea how I did it, but he showed me how. It was a very special memory, me completely unsupervised and a totally strange adult male bonding in a bowling alley arcade together. Good times. I saw the game in a few more places, and whenever I did, I played it. Walked right past The Simpsons, right past Bad Dudes, WrestleFest, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, and even my former favorite Street Fighter 2. Then a miracle happened in my young life. I picked up a GamePro and found out that Mortal Kombat was coming to home systems. I couldn't fucking believe it. I looked at the blurry, shitty resolution screenshots and was astounded. It was coming to home systems. I was gonna be able to play as much Mortal Kombat as I wanted, but I'll get back to that shit later. In 1991, Ed Boon and John Tobias wanted to make a game featuring Jean-Claude Crap Dam. They were gonna digitize him into a game with pictures and blue screens, but that damn guy was involved with the creation of another game with him in it. Damn guy. They did, however, rip off his likeness and moves for the character of Johnny Cage. Ed Boon was a programmer and John Tobias was a comic book guy. And then there were other members like the artist John Vogel and Dan My Nuts Have Yet to Drop Forden.
Toasty!
So let's get ourselves introduced to the characters. We have Yellow Ninja, Blue Ninja, Terminator, Jean-Claude Van Clone, Bruce Lee, Green Ninja, Kung Fu Cliché, Forearms Guy, and Olivia Newton-John. And together they combined their forces to make a grainy 1 vs 1 battle royale. How could it get any better? The home versions were released in what was dubbed Mortal Monday, and then the shit hit the fan. Big time. Up until this point, games were often rarely this violent. The worst thing that they had in gaming, like at that time, was fucking Splatterhouse. But not to worry, Bible-thumping conservative nutcases, the violence was toned down. The blood was removed, and the fatalities toned down or completely replaced, except the Sega Genesis version. By entering the magic code ABACABB would turn all the lights and switches back on again, allowing blood and gore and fatalities. Bit of trivia, Abacab is actually the title of the 1981 album from the band Genesis. Get it? Genesis, Sega Genesis. Probe loved a good pun fest. The Super Nintendo didn't have this option. Those who wanted the blood and gore, basically the Mortal Kombat experience, had to invest in a Sega Genesis. It was a true blow to Nintendo. Sega was already whooping their ass in sales at that point. It was the reason Nintendo completely altered their stance against violence. It was also released uncensored on Sega CD and DOS. The DOS version is actually considered the most authentic. The Sega CD version had a grainy full-motion video excuse for the Mortal Monday commercial, and it also had some of the best visuals and the most authentic arcade experience besides DOS, but it suffered from loading times, and it also freezed up whenever Shang Tsung moved or did anything, or yeah, it was just kind of awful. The Super Nintendo version had a gray mist effect. Instead of blood, it looked like gray sweat. It looked like shit, though. And it had a score screen, but since there was no battery in it, they shit-canned that. I had both the Sega Genesis and Sega CD versions, both of which I paid for with my own money from my first job, and I played them on my JVC XI.
We now require warning labels on toys that can potentially damage children's bodies. Why not do so on a toy that can damage their minds?
Don't you just love big government? Of course, 20 years later, the concept that video games make kids violent is pretty silly, but back then it was serious business, especially when dumb politicians are attempting to promote themselves on the backs of the nerds with computers. But was it the violence and gore that made Mortal Kombat popular? I don't think it was the sole factor in its appeal. To be honest, I sucked at fatalities. It was rare if my 13-year-old hands could pull them off. Now, what grabbed me about Mortal Kombat was the mystery appeal. What people in this internet era don't understand is, prior to the internet, the only way to get information about games was through magazines or other people. It seemed everyone in every town had heard about another rumor or about a character that didn't really exist, especially since asshole magazines like EGM felt the need to make fake screenshots. Idiots. It started because there was a secret fight in the game, the now famous battle with Reptile. The only way to discover Reptile prior to magazine interest was the series of occasional Reptile hint drops. Also, people noticed in the diagnostic menu where it stated there was an Ermac, and it must be a red ninja hidden in the game, right? Right? Asshole. What was unique about Reptile is Reptile wasn't actually a character. Reptile was an attribute that was added to a character, which was Scorpion. You see, the way a game of this era worked was kind of like this. Each character had a value. Each character had its own slot and its own identifying number. Now, the way that Reptile functioned was like this. First off, they took Scorpion and added modifications. Speed, Sub-Zero's moves, etc. It was like a patch that was added to Scorpion, which is also why the original arcade Mortal Kombat, Reptile's life bar actually says Scorpion.
Understand that these are not harmless toys, that they can indeed cause great emotional and other damage to a child.
What happens when you make a wildly successful game? You make a half-ass sequel. However, the crew behind Mortal Kombat decided to skip the shitty sequel step and just do a fucking awesome one instead. Mortal Kombat 2 took everything that was awesome about the original Mortal Kombat and quadrupled it. The first obvious step forward is the fact that it looks so much better. The images are crisper, the fighting arenas are more detailed and animated, and the whole thing is a lot darker. Remember fatalities? Well, now there's 2 per character, but it doesn't end there. No, there's more. They now have babalities where you turn your opponent into an infant version of themselves. That it? No! They can also do a friendship. Is that it? Nah, there's multiple stage fatalities too. Is there a secret character? Hell's nah, son, there's 3 of them now! 2 things it didn't have was a scoring system because nobody really gave a fuck, and they also got rid of the test your might thing. Thank God. 2 of the worst parts of the first one now gone. And the character roster is increased from 7 characters to 12. So who's new to this game? Well, Reptile is now playable and has his own moves instead of borrowing Scorpion and Sub-Zero's. We also have Blue Ninja Part 2, the brother of the original Blue Ninja. We have Edward Scissorhands, Black Lightning, Purple Chick, Blue Chick, Gross Chick, Jew Chick.
Barbara Streisand.
Also Puff the Magic Ninja, Mr. Forearm Meow Meow, Skeletor, and Toby.
What's your name?
Noob Saibot. Also, the secret characters have their own slots rather than patching new values over old values. So let's get a little tech geeky here. These characters, while having their own slots, do not actually have their own controller setups. So if you were to look at the construction of each character, it would be like this. Part of the character would be its colors and palette information. Another part would be the graphics. The graphics and the colors aren't in the same areas, as games like this used to use the same graphics and just slap new colors on it, which is why everything looks the same. Like, for example, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile and Smoke all use the same graphics, and they just lay different colors on top of them. And Noob Saibot is just simply lazy by setting every single color to black. And then there were movesets, special moves, fatalities, and all that shit. That was in a different part. Then there were the special attributes, like Smoke's smoke, Jade's projectile immunity, the character's speed, what level is attached to which character, or the inability to throw characters like Kintaro or Shao Kahn. There was also the controller setup, like the joystick, the buttons, and the combinations of what did what. This is where things start to go wrong. You see, these guys, while having most of the information, they do not have the controller program. So if you modify the game to play as them, then you're going to be seriously disappointed as it crashes completely. Oh, and some asshole pops in from time to time to sing like Prince. Toasty! And there were also a lot more secrets this time, more codes, more hidden stuff to hunt for. This is still in the pre-internet days too, so this game, like the previous game, was a hotbed for rumor and speculation. For example, it was often believed that there was a red lady ninja. What the fuck? Why are people so obsessed with the color red? Same thing happened in the last game too. They would eventually use the rumor of this Scarlet to create a character, which was named Scarlet in Mortal Kombat 9. So by this logic, if a rumor started that there's a character in Mortal Kombat that shot milk from her titties and farted sulfuric acid, then I guess eventually they're going to make it. So there you go, Ed Boon. I call her Princess Titty Splash. Get to it. Not like you guys shy away from the boobs in any way, shape, or form. And after a marathon of 250 two-player games, you're treated to a session of the arcade classic Pong, but with Mortal Kombat 2 sound effects. Now to put this in perspective, let's do some math. Now the minimum amount of quarters that was required to get to this is 251. That's if one player pays a quarter and wins all the matches. Extremely unlikely, but for the sake of argument, that's the bare minimum. And I'm not even getting into the fact that most places charged 50 cents back then for Mortal Kombat games because they knew they could get away with it. Now, 250 games at the base of 25 cents a game, player 1 wins all 251 matches with 1 quarter, it would cost $62.75 for a game of Pong. Sure makes that $12.75 that it would take to fight Noob Saibot in perspective, wouldn't it? To fight him, a player has to beat 50 games versus other people and win them all. But that was always the Mortal Kombat way, batshit combinations to get to secrets. Like Smoke. When smashing each other's faces in the portal, occasionally if you do an uppercut, Toasty Guy appears and then you press down and start and you'll be teleported to Goro's lair to fight against Smoke. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of steps. For Jade, before you get to the question mark on the ladder, beat the round before only using low kick. Best of luck with that, asshole. For Princess Titty Splash, you have to be Reptile and you have to be fighting Raiden. You must block 3 of Raiden's flying spear moves. When he tries for a 4th one, press down and high kick, then shake the machine like it's a vending machine that has stolen your peanut M&Ms. Then sacrifice 3 virgins to Cthulhu and take a shit on the porch of your middle school bully. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Guy Federico, you fucking asshole. Also, since they had rumors regarding Ermac due to the game audit screen, they added in fake red herrings such as Kano transformations in the game audits of this one. Ed Boon liked to fuck with people. This would also mark the point where game companies were allowing them to make Mortal Kombat the way that they saw fit. No longer were they censoring them or forcing them to use shitty codes. They would actually slap labels onto the box as an early version of the game rating system. And in Japan, the screen would go grayscale for fatalities and all the blood was green. All this changed to provide censorship to the game for the same people who put this kind of shit on TV. After the arcade, it would be brought to Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, the Nintendo Game Boy, the Sega Saturn, the Sony PlayStation, Japan only, the Amiga, the PC, the Sega Game Gear, the Sega Master System, and the Sega Poison Mushroom. So some time would pass until the next installment of Beatdown Baddies, and this would give them time to cash checks by slapping the MK Dragon onto any item that they could. T-shirts, toys, an annoying album with a horrible song that makes me want to kick a puppy. Mortal Kombat actually made its way into other games. A fairly successful game series by the same company, Midway was sucking down quarters in arcades like crazy for this. It was called NBA Jam. In NBA Jam Tournament Edition, they added all kinds of Easter eggs. You could be Bill Clinton, or you could be Scorpion, or maybe some other fools. There's also a lot of hidden characters. However, this would only be in the early versions. You see, NBA shit their pants having Mortal Kombat characters in their game and forced them to remove it from later revisions. There's also a lack of Mortal Kombat characters in the home version. NBA doesn't support masked ninjas, they only support drug addicts, wife beaters, rapists, and stereotypes. They also released a direct-to-home VHS of a mid-1990s computer animated tale to explain the upcoming movie. This was actually pretty cool for its era, but it's hot damn, it's showing its age now. Mortal Kombat The Journey starred the... You know what, I don't feel like wasting time on this at all. Hey, guess what? It's the Mortal Kombat movie! Dun 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 dun! Mortal Kombat movie was actually not all that bad for a video game movie. It wasn't even a 20th% of how incredibly horrible the Street Fighter movie was, or that fucking Mario Brother movie. No gore or fatalities, but it was well put together, and it was fun, it was action-packed, and it was full of Mortal Kombat awesomeness. And it was so good that I could overlook the retarded Muppet that they had playing Goro. I saw it in the theater twice. One time I theater hopped over to see Clueless with Alicia Silverstone. I also remember thinking how awesome it would be to have a sequel to the Mortal Kombat movie. Oh, young, naive self. After merchandising to death for 2 years, we finally got to see the next evolution of Mortal Kombat. And I kind of wonder how many people had the same reaction I did. Wait a minute, there's fucking robots now? The tone took a drastic change. The first game felt like it was kind of out of an old Chinese kung fu movie, and then the second one got a lot darker and more evil and creepy. And this one was in a post-apocalyptic wasteland? I was a little irritated with this up until then. I played it and oh my fucking god, combos! Holy shit, you can run! Whoa, I just punched that fucker through the ceiling! Ugh, enjoy the trip down, fucker! Just like the step from Mortal Kombat to Mortal Kombat 2, there were drastic additions and tons of new shit. And again, they decided to fuck with players by adding Johnny Cage transformations, which doesn't exist, into their audit menu. Boy, Ed Boon is a fucking troll. No, that's not Ed Boon. That's Ed Boon. Do we still have fatalities? Yup. What about friendships and babalities? Yup, got those too. What else could be better? Shut your face! We have mercy now! That's right, you can spare the life of your opponent and give them a chance to make a comeback. Is that all? Shut the fuck up, I'll burn you alive, cause we have fucking melodies! Okay, well that's cool I guess. Anything else? Yeah, boy! We got the ultimate combat code! And if you get it right, Smoke becomes a playable character! Nice. Is that it? No, asshole, we're not done! You can now pick your difficulty all the way from I'm a pussy to not a fucking chance in hell! And new to this, we're introduced to Red Robot, Yellow Robot, Thong Goro, Bride of Frankenstein, the Tuscan Warrior, Officer Cheap Ass, and Chief Running Cliche. Also making their comeback are Kano and Sonya. And since this was a way more advanced game than the last two Mortal Kombats, I'm sure they've fixed the issue with Kano's eye. Oh, god damn it. Sonya has also gone through an upgrade, as this has been replaced by sexy as shit actress / Playboy model Carrie Hoskins. During the development, they also seem to have a problem naming the characters. We have Ketchup Mustard, RoboCop, and Muchacha. And that's okay, because it's Mortal Kombat. Okay, cool. Hey, fuck you! It has fucking robots in the apocalypse. Oh, did we mention it has a fucking badass centaur guy with horns? And he shoots lasers from a metal tail! Alright, that's cool. Can I play the game now? Shut your upper vagina, hippie! Check this shit. Jax has fucking metal arms. Look at that motherfucker. He's gonna punch the shit out of you! Well, actually, I like to play as Sub-Zero. Oh, you like Sub-Zero, huh? Well, guess what? He has no mask and a big-ass scar on his face. Oh, by the way, did we mention he's white? Didn't see that coming, did you? No, I guess not, but I'm gonna play now if you don't mind. Hells to the nah, bro! You missed out! Mortal Kombat 3 is over! Wait, what? No, it's Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3! The Ultimate Mortal Kombat experience! Oh, great. So, what did you add? Yo, dog, we tossed in all those ninjas, all 1,200 of them, back with a new one, a red one named Ermac. Oh, you mean like the rumored hidden character from Mortal Kombat 1? That's kind of nifty. Shut up, fool! We got all the palette swap bitches back, too. Well, did you add anybody that wasn't a palette swap? No. So, let me get this straight. There are 22 characters. 23 characters, yo! Human smoke can be accessed by selecting smoke and holding some buttons and doing a voodoo dance and sacrificing a chicken. Okay, so there's 23 characters. Yeah! But 11 of them are pellet swap versions of each other. Yeah, but they got their own moves! Okay, I guess I can accept that as long as you fix that thing with Kano's... Oh, god damn it! So, what does this game have that other than those characters? Shut up, fool, we got everything. With new 2-on-2 combat mode, new 8-player tournament combat. Stryker now has a rapid fire gun move, and we fixed his spammy as shit grenades. Kano now has a diagonal cannonball. Cabal has been neutered, so his combos aren't as fucking obnoxious. Sub-Zero can no longer create an ice clone next to somebody. Sonya's Mortal Kombat 3 friendship, which makes her look like an asshole, has been removed. And, let's see, Shao Kahn's lost treasures are added when you beat the game. Hardest difficulty mode is now even harder, because it wasn't rapey enough. Try the new Master difficulty. Oh yeah, we got endurance matches. Those are back for Mortal Kombat 1. And you have to face as many as 3 assholes. Also, Noob Saibot is no longer a palette swap Kano anymore. Well, I'm gonna have to admit, you crammed a lot of shit in there, but, well, you know what? It's pretty damn awesome. Thank you! More original characters would have been, you know, that would have been... Shut up! We gave you 2 Sub-Zeros! Oh, nice. Classic Sub-Zero. He even has his spine rip fatality. Oh, sweet. Wait. Why is the screen going dark? Gotcha, bitch! And there's also rain. Purple rain. Like the Prince song. You can see him in the game's Attract mode fighting Shao Kahn. However, it's just another classic Mortal Kombat rumor mill seed. You may not notice it at first, but the character Rain actually has a very odd-looking life bar. Rain isn't playable in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 until it makes its way to home systems. There's also a hack of the arcade version Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 where you can actually play as Noob or Human Smoke, called the Zeus hack. However, you lose a few characters in the process. Apparently they had a version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 where Noob was playable, called the WaveNet version, which was a machine that hooked up to a T1 line so you could play people in other arcades and such, but it cost too much to keep the machines running, and so the project didn't make it very far, and none of the machines thus far have made it into the hands of collectors or ROM dumpers. You know, the game's pretty awesome, and I can't wait for it to come home to my Super Nintendo or Genesis. Well, prepare yourself for disappointment, because we have to remove 90% of the game to make it fit on a shitty cart! The announcer no longer announces the character names. Most of the Mortal Kombat 3 levels are missing. Shiva's been removed, although bits and pieces of her are left in there still, and you can kind of make her active if you do some hacking. And let's see, brutalities have been introduced to replace the overwhelming amount of removed materials. Rain and Noob Saibot are playable. It also looks really squashed and ugly. Noob is super broken too, and he can't be stopped during a fight. Chameleon was ready to be added to the game as some of his data still exists in the game, but He just uses Scorpion's physical attributes and has no moves whatsoever. Animalities are gone too, except for Cabal's, which his animality still exists. Just kidding. The button combination to activate it was accidentally left in the game, and when you use it, this happens. The next obvious step was Mortal Kombat 4. So they made Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which still today, bar none, is one of the most awesome ideas they ever had, which is in vast contrast to some of the decisions that are coming up. Mortal Kombat Trilogy was a combination of all the previous Mortal Kombat characters, complete with new moves. Mortal Kombat Trilogy can be considered the ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. It contains all the characters, boss characters, and a great deal of the levels, new moves such as Brutalities and the Aggressor Mater. Characters have new moves, and they recaptured Johnny Cage from scratch. Due to the era in which they were released, there's actually differences between the versions. 3-on-3 simultaneous battles are only on the N64 version, and the PlayStation version has the bank and Shao Kahn's arena. And both have their own chameleon. PC and PlayStation got the chameleon with a C.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
A male ninja who cycles through the male ninja's colors, and chameleon with a K.
K! Kangaroo!
A female ninja who cycled through the female ninjas in the same way. The N64 version merged Sub-Zero with classic Sub-Zero to make one character. The N64 version also didn't have Mortal Kombat 1 Raiden and Kano, nor Mortal Kombat 2 Jax and Kung Lao. N64 also didn't have Goro or Kentaro. Basically, the N64 version was garbage. The PlayStation version is the definite winner this round, unless you want to compare it to the PC version, which doesn't have the loading times on top of everything else. So now it's time to identify where the shark is being jumped. The next half a decade would be plagued with horrible ideas and stupid decisions. This was a stage show abortion that involved various Mortal Kombat characters fighting and acting and basically ruining the franchise in any way possible. They even had a handful of the people who were the actors that did the motion capturing for Mortal Kombat 3 as the characters on the live stage show. 200 cities got to see this carnival of shit as they toured. They even plugged it in arcades. Ugh. But don't worry, more bad decisions are coming. Then there was Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. This was a kids' cartoon based on the Mortal Kombat universe without blood, gore, death, or quality. It was on USA Network's USA Cartoon Express and was shit-canned after 13 episodes because it was a terrible fucking embarrassment. But have no fear, this failure wouldn't prevent them from trying it a second time. However, we're back to Mortal Kombat on PlayStation. Mortal Kombat Mythologies was the first attempt to bring the Mortal Kombat franchise outside its comfort realm of one-on-one fighting. It had weird controls and barely resembled something in the Mortal Kombat universe. It's not the worst thing that they'd released though. Nope. Sadly, only a few months later, the worst thing ever released with a Mortal Kombat name on it would be released. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is used to torture terrorists out of information. This movie is awful in a way I struggle to describe. How bad is it? Well, check this.
Mother. You're alive. Too bad you will die.
And this.
The energies they waste with their sniveling, I would use to capture souls for you.
Plus the blue screen effects and the wire effects and the stupid shitty cliche dialogue.
Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about.
It had a $30 million budget and it has the look of something filmed in someone's back lawn. Plus they replaced Sonya and Raiden, and at one point Raiden dresses like Billy Idol. And it was less a movie about Mortal Kombat and more an attempt to cram as much special moves and characters in as humanly possible. Also, where was the team of amateur cosplayers that they stole these costumes from? Ugh. Anyway, let's continue on with the series. Mortal Kombat 4 was released into the transitional period of gaming where everyone's trying to go 3D. No longer taking motion captured graphics from actors, they worked with a fully 3D environment. It took Mortal Kombat into a darker, more serious direction, working hard to remove the comical aspects of the game, and sometimes failing by accident. New characters include Ponytail, Boring, A Bloody Skeleton, Nightwing, the Pope, Bondage Model, and Uncle Fester. Goro actually made it into the home versions, but not into the arcade. Mortal Kombat 4 introduces weapons to the series, and they got smart and added a maximum damage cap to the combo system by breaking off combos and thus preventing infinite combos. Katana was cut from Mortal Kombat 4, however her coding is still in the N64 version of the game and she can be accessed with a Game Shark. I saw this game for the first time at Malibu Castle in Redwood City, California. It was in a small cluster of arcade machines with Primal Rage 2 and another game. I found out years later that Primal Rage 2 never saw a full release, and the machine that I was playing was one of a handful of test machines to see what people thought of it. And here's what I thought. It was fucking garbage. It wasn't anything like the first one. Instead of dinosaurs, it had giant people that I guess could transform into dinosaurs. I never really grasped how it worked because it looked like shit, controlled like shit, sounded like shit, and basically sat right next to Mortal Kombat 4, so it was like, fuck that, I'm playing Mortal Kombat 4. So back to Mortal Kombat 4. Its reception was lukewarm due to the horrible movie that just passed, and John Tobias, the main storyteller, resigned. Plus, arcades were making a significant decline as home systems were obtaining close to, if not better, gaming at home. Prior to this, arcade games usually ran on custom hardware that would be unable to be purchased cheaply by the average user. So, was the era of bad decision-making in Mortal Kombat over? Nope! In 1998, the show Mortal Kombat Conquest was shoveled onto television from 1998 to 1999. The series is a prequel to the first Mortal Kombat film, and luckily it was cancelled after just one season. But a small glimmer of hope was on the horizon as Mortal Kombat Gold was released in 1999. Mortal Kombat Gold was Mortal Kombat 4 with improvements. They added Baraka, Cyrax, Katana, Kung Lao, and Mileena, plus they also had Sector, Noob, and Goro as hidden characters. It was a lot cleaner and more fluid compared to the home system versions of Mortal Kombat 4 on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. There was a new character by the name of Belloc on the way, but they just didn't finish him, so he hit the cutting room floor, and that was Mortal Kombat Gold. This was a glimmer of hope that was extinguished by the 2000 title Mortal Kombat Special Forces. This title was a platformer turd that involved Jax. John Tobias left the company around this time to expand his efforts to bring back high-top fade haircuts. This game was so rotten that it managed to kill Mortal Kombat for 2 years, until Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Sonya was originally supposed to be in the game, playable, but was shit-canned due to them wanting to keep the game's development under 30 days. In 2002, they brought Mortal Kombat out of retirement with Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which was Mortal Kombat 5, which you can kind of see the V for 5 there, see that? This time, Shang Tsung and Red Foreman get together to kill Liu Kang and resurrect the army of the Dragon King. It introduced new concepts like switching fighting styles. It also brought in the Conquest mode, a single-player mission-driven thing that would continue into other Mortal Kombat games in the future. And also the Crypt. The Crypt is a place where you earn rewards from the game, which is in most Mortal Kombat games to follow. The 3D models have gone through drastic improvements since Mortal Kombat 4, and the run button is no longer existing. This would also mark the first time that Mortal Kombat skipped the arcade entirely, and new characters would include the Human Torch, Vomit Claws, Pigpen, Subgina, Creepy Train Conductor, See No Evil, Samurai Cuntbag, Kano and Cabal's Love Child, Big Balls, Rogue the Bat, and Fucking Horrible Idea. Also, Reptile is doing his best Zoidberg impression. They continued this story into the Game Boy Advance game Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition, which is always a good idea to move down about 900% technology-wise when continuing a story. Also, this was the first Mortal Kombat game to feature Serena as a playable character. There are also regular fatalities as well as weapon fatalities in the game. The next step, Mortal Kombat Deception, was released in 2004. The Deadly Alliance had succeeded in their plan. Quan Chi and Shang Tsung beat the shit out of Raiden, and Onaga the Dragon King comes back from the dead. Deception's conquest explored the history of Shujinko, starting with prior to his training with Bo Raicho and ending with the beginning of Deception. Most of the bonus content in Deception required but playthrough of the Conquest mode. Mortal Kombat Deception characters have 2 fatalities and a Harikiri suicide move. Mortal Kombat Deception adds chess combat and puzzle combat as game modes, and is the first Mortal Kombat to feature an extensive online mode. However, Shao Kahn and Goro are playable characters in the GameCube version, so I guess it kinda makes up for it. It would also be the first time 2 characters would fight as one, as the team of Noob and Smoke makes their only appearance. New to this series are Female Raiden, Nosferatu, Jax 2, Night of the Living Dead, Back Flags, Kano with boobies, Ken from Street Fighter, Devil from Tekken, and this old fuck. Also, Liu Kang is now a zombie, and it's the only time he hasn't been an annoying, high-pitched, screaming Bruce Lee ripoff. 2005 brought out another Mortal Kombat platformer, this being Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. In total contrast with Special Forces, it's not complete shit. It takes place in Mortal Kombat 2's timeline. It's a great game, and you can even earn the ability to play as Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Also, Scorpion gets much more aggressive with his demands of getting over here. 2006 would bring us Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and this game has it all. Literally, it has a roster of fighters thicker than Ed Boon's eyebrows. Only 2 new characters would come to be. Tavin, the hero of Mortal Kombat Armageddon's Conquest mode, and his brother Dagian, who serves as his antagonist in the race to defeat Blaze. Oh yeah, forgot to mention Blaze is now the bad guy. Who saw that coming? Also, Motaro has 2 stupid legs. Rather than spend any more of the budget than they had to, they made Motaro a badass 4-legged centaur, a 2-legged pussy. Apparently he went from 4 to 2 legs pretty seamlessly because he has 0 problems walking, kicking, spinning, etc. Outworld's HMO must have awesome physical therapy coverage. Apparently he got cursed to have 2 legs, or it's a spell or some other horse shit. Get it? Horse shit? Nintendo console also gets a bonus again, this being the Wii exclusive Chameleon, the one with the K, the female one, on top of the other 62 characters in the game. Speaking of 62 characters, you know what happens when you have too many characters in a Mortal Kombat game? You get the shitty creative fatality system. Rather than having individual fatalities for each character, they had this. Actually, here's a fun fact. Jack Thompson, an anti-video game activist, this asshole who blames video games for pretty much everything in the world, sent a letter to Midway Games demanding they immediately stop selling Mortal Kombat Armageddon, claiming that the game was illegally profiting from his likeness. This was because you could create characters, and people thought it would be fun to make ones that look like him because he was a lawsuit-happy douchebag bully. He eventually got disbarred from law because people got sick of his shit. And what did Midway respond to him with? Fucking nothing. They ignored him because he was a fucking dumbass.
I'm so
Hey, Forden. Yes! How do you feel?
Toasty!
Yeah, me too. Whoa! What is it? I just had an awesome idea. What if we did a versus title with Mortal Kombat? What do you mean? Well, you know how like Capcom did Marvel versus Capcom? Yeah. What if we did Mortal Kombat versus DC? I don't get it. Well, we get the license from Warner Brothers to use their characters and make them fight our characters. Interesting! Could you imagine Scorpion roasting Batman like barbecue chicken?
Sounds good.
Dude, I want some barbecue chicken.
Me too.
Wait, what were we talking about?
Don't know.
Pass me those Pringles.
I ate them.
Dude, that was quick. What are you, Superman? Whoa. What if we have a game where Mortal Kombat fights DC? Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe came next, and it made two mistakes. Now, I'm not going to shit on this game because it's actually very, very good, but they made a couple of very drastic mistakes. Number one, they assumed that a game in the Mortal Kombat universe would mesh well with a comic book world. And number two, they failed to understand how easily this could have been split into two games. I mean, shit, they could have used the game engine to make an awesome Mortal Kombat game, then turn and use the same engine to make a good DC Universe title. But no, they had to mimic the Marvel vs. Capcom route. They failed to understand the reason that Marvel vs. Capcom works is because the characters only do battle. In Mortal Kombat, they fucking murder each other. No one wants to see Batman and the Flash get murdered. Well, I do because they suck. Well, except for Batman. Batman's fucking awesome. But also, the story of Superman getting weakened for some reason is dumb. Superman shouldn't be anything less than a boss. And by a boss, I mean an actual boss in the game. They could have even written it so he turned evil and worked to destroy the DC universe at Shao Kahn's side. I mean, fuck, the guy can go back in time by spinning the world. He can throw cars. He can burn shit with his eyeballs. Superman is way too powerful, and this weakening of him so he fits into the fighter roster is kinda dumb. It also had some stuff of its own that was just fucking awesome. Like beating the shit out of somebody as you fall. Fuck yeah, that is just awesome. Why did they not keep this alive? It was also confirmed that DLC was on the way in the form of Quan Chi and Harley Quinn, but it just didn't pan out. The only new character in the game was, well, the love child of Darkseid and Shao Kahn spliced together called... Are you kidding me? Dark Kahn? Don't get too creative, guys. This is also the only Mortal Kombat that isn't rated mature thanks to the DC universe being so clean and sparkly. They even censored the fatalities in the US version so it didn't get slapped with a mature rating. How so? Well, when anybody was about to get shot in a fatality, they just simply moved the camera away. Wow, a gunshot. Fuck you, ESRB, you're wasting everybody's time and money. As a big fuck you to the ESRB, in Mortal Kombat 9 they had a fatality where Shang Tsung turns into a generic clown and does the Joker's fatality uncensored. Also, why is it that when Joker wins he holds his arm out like he's waiting tables? Also, the fatalities, censored or not, are total shit. There's no real difference between them and the heroic brutalities that the good guys have. Literally, I'd challenge anyone to tell the difference. The tagline was, "When worlds collide," which they shouldn't have. And although this game is truly amazing as a fighting game, it could have easily been split into two games. 2010 saw the first attempt to create a Mortal Kombat movie since the drippy egg fart that was Annihilation. Dubbed Mortal Kombat Rebirth, it was a reboot pitch that would later become Mortal Kombat Legacy. This 9-piece web-based series kicked the shit out of pretty much anything that had been done with the franchise in a movie form yet. Everything and everyone from the series was awesome, except for Ed Goodman, when I didn't really care for him. It would be a welcome reboot as the next game would be taking the crown as the King of Combat. Mortal Kombat 2011, or Mortal Kombat, or sometimes Mortal Kombat 9, reboots the series after Armageddon. The storyline goes like this.
It's a brand new show, market share, we in control. Slutty angels, how we roll. Got next show in heart and soul. I'm bringing action of a new type. 90%, yeah, got me too high. Taking off your clothes, cause you know that it feels right. Looking for the one with the white and the blue stripe. You know you don't care that I got hots for the one with the blue hair. Maybe got next flip, reverse the curse of demons. Sisters are the ones that I side with. I don't find me cool, yeah, that's how I roll, yeah, that's how I dude. I take it back to school, playing the fool, getting stronger with every goal.
Shao Kahn wins, and Raiden uses his god magic to send a message to himself. back in Mortal Kombat 1, then different choices are made and we go through the events of the first 3 Mortal Kombat games. They even went back to 2D fighting, got rid of the weapon systems, the sidestepping, the fighting styles, and pretty much all the extra fluff they concentrated on, and then they went for fighting and fun. And they succeeded beyond belief. It would also include minigames like the classic Test Your Might, which I could have dealt without, but they also have Test Your Sight, as well as Test Your Strike and Test Your Luck. The game also has a massive 300 mission challenge named creatively the Challenge Tower. Good job, guys. The PlayStation 3 version actually has an exclusive character, which is Kratos from the God of War series. Download content was released for Kenshi, Rain, the new girl Scarlet, and Freddy fucking Cougar. Oh, hell's nah, son, we're gonna be clawing. Or clawing with a K. You could also earn Quan Chi, Cyber Sub-Zero, and Melina's vagina. The game is also banned in Rubanger Land and is on the Australian Customs and Border Protection Service list of prohibited items. Importing the game is illegal in Australia, with a copy being found at the border being seized and a fine of 110,000 Australian dollars, or about the cost of a bar of soap, which is also not available in Australia. Also, they decided to take Nightwolf from a stereotype to blatantly racist.
Your aggression is misplaced.
What do you know of my...
You're not the only one whose people have been victimized.
Mortal Kombat 9 on the Vita has all kinds of content that's new and platform specific. It actually looks pretty rad. It takes advantage of motion controls, touch controls, and has classic costumes for all of the characters, including Rain and Scarlet. Mortal Kombat is the story of the comeback kid. It suffered like a lot of video game franchises did in the 1990s. Sudden popularity, mass desire for the product, bad decisions, oversaturation, but then it did what a lot of franchises don't do. They started releasing quality product again. I think that every game series is going to have at least one embarrassing skeleton in their closet. A few things they'd rather not talk about. But what makes a good developer versus a bad developer is what the higher management pushes. When you have a good team full of talented, dedicated people with great ideas and a great work ethic, stupid people in suits with stock certificates should not have any control of them. Because people who just want to cash checks are only interested in one thing: cashing fucking checks. Midway Games, the company who owned Mortal Kombat, tanked entirely by 2009. Just like Sega's Bernie Stolar and 3DO's Trip Hawkins, bad decisions by people who know exactly dick other than how to look at sales figures ruined Midway. So who is to blame? Who is the architect of destruction? Well, that would be former Midway CEO and Bob Saget impersonator David Zucker. It amazes me that he would bail on the company just a year prior to it tanking. Good job, asshole. Nice to see the rats scurry before the ship sinks. After Midway went the way of the dinosaur, they were purchased by WB Games, who have been pushing forward amazing quality games like Batman Arkham series, and you know what they do? They make high quality games because they hire talented people and let them do their fucking jobs. They don't push out excrement like Special Forces. So NetherRealm Studios, you did a damn good job, and you're gonna have to work pretty goddamn hard to impress me. Wait, what's going on? What is this? Oh my god, I think I'm gonna need a new pair of shorts.